Yes, villagers. Today we're going to be talking about 4 ways for you to learn your triggers. If you want to find out if your view is reflected among the 4, you are in the right place. If you're new to this channel, welcome to our village. If you're a returning villager, welcome as well. So, let's get into it. Welcome to Garden of the Mind, where we reduce stress, improve our health and fitness, and improve our financial IQ every episode. Just because something does not make sense doesn't mean that there's no sense to be made of something. When it comes to our triggers, our anger triggers, or any triggers that we're dealing with, there is a rhyme to the reason. But there are only some ways for us to get in sync with those things. Tip number 1, record it. Recording it means documenting it in some way. If you can do it on your phone, then that's fine. One of the things that I find to be most helpful is to get a little tablet that you carry with you for an entire week. And as things happen, you write them down. You write the dates that it happened, what was going on, how far after meals, as much details as you possibly can get. Write and record those things so that you may be able to come back to them later on down the line. Tip number 2, document the intensity. How deep are you feeling these feelings? If it's anger, how angry? If it's panic attacks, how catastrophic? If it's depression, how deep are the lows? All of these things you have to include in what you've documented. Most of the times when we have these intense feelings, they come from us being in a context where our interpretation of what is going on is equally intense. If we begin to write these things down, we don't have to remember exactly how we were feeling later on down the line. We would be able to read it in our own words and in ways that would completely jog that exact feeling of what was going on for us at the time. Tip number 3, after you've documented, study the trends. So after you've gone for whatever time frame that you are looking for, whether that be a week or a month, with this tablet in your pocket or on your phone, whatever the time period is that you are talking about, read over them and look for patterns. See exactly when these things are occurring so that you'll be able to predict when they may occur again. Remember, the best way to predict future occurrence is by looking at past performance. What will be, and if we study it, we can see when it was so we can predict when it will be later on in the future. Tip number 4, create an intervention. After you've documented these feelings, documented the intensity, figured out when and why they're happening, now it's time for you to do something about it. Is there something that you can do, 1, to avoid this situation, if at all possible? Is there a way for you to be proactive? Can you go into the situation understanding there's a high likelihood of it happening, but knowing that it might happen, you give it less energy? There are so many ways for us to look at an intervention and figure out how not to arrive at the possibility that you don't want to happen. I'll give you an example. I used to love watching the cartoon The Peanuts. Every time I would watch the cartoon, I would say, I don't know why Charlie Brown insists on kicking the football knowing that Lucy is going to move the football. If we know that this football is going to be moved, then let's not go out and try to kick it. But oftentimes, we do just like Charlie Brown, and we figure that it's not going to happen to us this particular time, and then this particular time ends up just like so many of the other past times where it did. Let's be proactive. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post, which is Wednesday, click on that notification bell, you get that ding on your phone, and you know that a new video is waiting for you. And remember, thoughts are actions, words have power, and actions have consequences. I'll see you next week. I'll see you then.